And we've been joined now by Angus Lyons to go through the men's race and just see how it all played out. And I tell you what, the winds really picked up, and then the temperatures rose as well. So it was very hot in the Tweed Valley. The racing was in particular for the men today.
Yeah, look, we had a hot, as you say, hot windy stage. So yeah, hydration was a massive factor. So yeah.
A little bit different to last week. It was the Tour of the Tropics in Cairns. Everybody thought coming out of the southern states up to Cairns, let's get up there and enjoy the sun. It'll be a beautiful conditions. It was cold and it just poured rain every day. So the conditions here were much better than even up in Cairns.
Yeah, look, we went up there last week hoping for a nice, warm, sunny tour. We got rain, we got cold, but yeah, it turned around this week, and yeah, the Tweeds really turned it on for us.
127 kilometres for stage one for the men, and I'm not sure many of them expected it to be as tough as it certainly became. And the wind had picked up a lot. You could see the flags flapping around at the start line. And the first opening valley section is quite open, and you can see just how strung out the peloton is. It was right into it. The National Road Series riders, including yourself, Angus Lyons, don't mind getting amongst it. You can see the gaps that were opening because of the crosswind so early. All of these riders are pretty strong, yet the gaps open up very, very fast.
Yeah, that crosswind, it's a tail cross, so it's one of the easiest to make a split on, actually. And you can see, I think it's one of our guys, actually, from Oliver's Real Food there. We went on the attack early, and we just really wanted to make it hard early and hard often. So yeah, we
just explain that. So the pre-race tactics, we've already had stage one, so we can talk about it now. Pre-race tactics were get out there and make it really hard. Why did you need to make it hard? Because there's other strong riders and teams in the race.
It's just a course that, if ridden hard, would suit us. It had the potential to come back for a sprint, which we don't really have a sprinter on board at the moment. So yeah, it was basically break or nothing for us today.
And you can see now a very strong group that did form. 127 kilometres, the total stage distance for stage one here, the Tour of Tweed. And then another couple of guys realising that they had to try and get across. One of the Nero boys now coming across as well. And this is about as big as it got. A little bit of a regrouping, and a couple of the Inform Insight Make riders starting to struggle at the back there as well.
Yeah, so I think they'd actually just joined on. That group had got quite a bit larger in that last sort of 4 or 5 Ks before that shot. And yeah, I'd actually gained a teammate as well, which was quite nice at that point.
Always good to get some more friends up in the front group. And that's over the top of the King of the Mountain point. That is you indeed, Angus Lyons, going over the top for Oliver's Real Food Racing, picking up some time bonuses as well as the KOM points. And some very strong riders in there as well. Ryan Thomas for the Drapac Cannondale team is with you. And just looking over the shoulder here, we've mentioned him a couple of times. He won a stage of a National Road Series race last year, and he really has gone on for 2019. That's Sam Hill sitting on the top tube into the aero position. So 3 very good climbers and strong riders coming together. And at this point, the racing had been really hard. What were you thinking? Were you thinking that there were numbers still left in what was left of the breakaway group to try and chase you down? Or was there regrouping that was happening with the peloton? Did you feel confident that you could get all the way to the finish?
It was a 50-50 at this point, I think. It's our policy to just always roll the dice, I think. And so, yeah, we just... I knew that these two were not going to particularly feature in a sprint, so they were good breakaway companions. And yeah, the teams behind us had been chasing on and off all day, so there was some tired legs happening. So yeah, I think it's always good to roll the dice.
Well, the tactics from Oliver's Real Food Racing was make it hard early and just keep going hard all day, and then that led to this split from the breakaway group, or what was left of it. And this is the remnant, so this is what was the chase group. So still plenty of riders there. Tough way to finish after a hard circuit, 3 laps of the hilly circuit, and then a headwind all the way slightly uphill, most of it as well. You can see in the profile when we showed the course map, the last 15 kilometres was slightly uphill to the foothills here in the shadows of Mount Warning in Tyalgum. Beautiful little town right up the western part of the Tweed Valley. Well, we've come into the finish now. So the final corner, 3-up sprint. At this point, obviously, you look behind, you know you're going to stay away. And Angus Lyons in the green colours coming into the final turn now. And it's an uphill sprint, so you've got to really time it. You had to go early. So Angus Lyons goes early. Ryan Thomas in the perfect position. Sam Hill, not known as a sprinter, in 3rd spot. And then Thomas comes through the shorter distance, and at this point it really looked as if Ryan Thomas from Drapac Cannondale was going to come away with a win. And as he sits up, comfortable victory for the green colours there. Angus Lyons, how happy was that to come across the line?
Gus, you won? Yes! Yes, boy!
Good job! Oh my goodness, well
yeah,
done.
boy! Well done.
That's amazing.
Took it pretty,
Cheap.
How about it?
Sam Lazell very, very happy with the tactics of the team and the performance of his main man in Angus Lyons. So it was Angus Lyons ahead of Ryan Thomas and Sam Hill, 1st, 2nd and 3rd across the line. 36 seconds was the gap back to David Williams and Jason Thomason. Angus, after a couple of good placings last week, you come away with a stage win here. How good's that?
Yeah, look, I'm pretty stoked about that. Like, we came close twice last week, and yeah, it's nice to finally get one. So.
But the bunch did really break up today, so obviously a very tough stage.
Yeah, look, it was always going to be hard. We did a recon of this a couple of days ago, and yeah, we just knew with this wind in this direction it was going to be hard on the flats and hard on the hills. So yeah, it just meant it had to break up, and which kind of really suited our team.
We can see the salt stains on the jersey there of Ryan Thomas. It was a tough stage, that for sure. 127 kilometres. Angus Lyons ahead of Ryan Thomas and Sam Hill. And you can see the time bonuses on the right-hand side. 11 seconds for you, Angus. So picking up the sprints and the KOMs along the way, plus the bonuses on the finish. That's really important in terms of the overall classification. 36 seconds was the gap back to David Williams. You can see Tristan Ward just behind. There was a split between 4th and 5th. But Tristan Ward sprinted in to almost close it down and led the peloton through to finish 6th on the stage ahead of Troy Herfoss. Blake Agnoletto, shout out to him. And the Olivers boys, you went to the Olivers Real Food Racing, the Olivers restaurant for dinner at Chindra. How good was that?
Yeah, it's absolutely great to have them sort of between the stage and where we're staying at the moment. They're a really good match for a cycling team, really. Healthy fast food. We're moving around a lot, so it's hard to find good food when you're travelling a lot. So yeah, it's a really good match.
This is the Tour de Tweed. This is the end of day 1. Still 2 big days of racing and 3 stages still to come. Good luck to you, Angus Lyons. After a big day, you lead the points classification, the King of the Mountains competition, but most importantly, the overall classification as we go into day 2.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to the Olivers Real Food boys. They'll be doing a lot of work on the front of the peloton to defend the lead of Angus Lyons for stage 2. So make sure you join us as well. Of course, particularly like this. Now, Angus Lyons, stage winner from yesterday. It was a big day out, so perhaps tired legs, but this is the tough one today. You feel like you've got it?
Yeah, look, managed to almost back it up 2 days in a row last week, so hopefully we can do it again. And yeah, it's a hard course, but I think everyone had a hard day yesterday. It was a hot day, windy day, so I think we've got what it takes to defend it.
So hilly course, but also that dirt section everyone's talking about. We saw it in the women's race. There were a few crashes in that one, unfortunately for them. Have you ridden the dirt yet yourself to actually check it out?
Yeah, look, we had a look at it 2 days ago, and we actually thought it wasn't too bad. It's fairly hard packed. There's a little bit of sort of surface gravel on top. But mostly it's okay.
Mount Warning in the background. And there's some warning shots, I guess, thrown across the top of Olivers as they were getting to the really hard part of the course. So 140k, it's reasonably long stage for the National Road Series because you have the men and women's competition here. So it's difficult to have the really long stages when you've got 2 types of, or 2 events happening on the same day, which is going to put a lot of extra pressure on the Olivers guys. Were you thinking that they could hold on, or did you feel that you might be able to crack a team as strong as Olivers on this really brutal day?
They had 7 riders starting the stage today, so they have a really strong team as well. So as you can see here, they're right in the front into the headwind, which was quite difficult, but they did a great job controlling it here, just making sure that there wasn't too many dangerous moves going off the front.
Oh, the Olivers Real Food Racing. We caught up with Angus Lyons after stage 1, and he talked us through all of the action from stage 1. And the team, they went to the Olivers restaurant at Chindera, just off the highway, to fuel up once again. So great sponsor to have after racing. You don't have to worry about who's going to cook. Just go down to Olivers, the local one, and get on board. Great healthy choice, actually. It's a good alternative. And some conversation going on there behind as well. There's Jared Drisners in the National Road Series Leaders jersey having a chat to Nathan Elliott. Nathan Elliott, an experienced rider for the Inform Insight Make team. You can see just the sugarcane in the background. There's your indication of just how windy it was out there today. The barriers at the finish line blew over a couple of times. They had to reinforce those with sandbags, extra barriers to hold them in place because of the advertising banners that were attached to them. And some great aerial shots as well. You can see the peloton not strung out, so either a headwind or the pace not really on, knowing it's only one rider that's out in front. But it's always that same team on the front, the green Olivers Real Racing Food team on the front, using a lot of energy. So every time you see one of those green jerseys on the front, for you, Ryan Thomas, you must have been happy knowing that that's one rider perhaps less to be there really at the pointy end when Angus Lyons, the overall race leader, needed them.
Yeah, exactly. Olivers were doing a great job controlling it with one guy up there at the moment. They were doing a really good job keeping him intact, nice and close for potentially a move to go across to him. But yeah, it wastes a lot of energy for those riders. It's pretty crucial at the back end of the race that you need those riders, but they have to ride the front. That's just what they have to do to protect the jersey. So they're doing a great job at the moment.
They certainly are. Great job out on the road there today. So from Nero Bianchi, though, it's Jay Vine out in front. Now, Ryan Thomas, who's with me now talking through the race, rides for the Drapac Cannondale team. It's the Olivers Real Food Racing squad that were looking after Angus Lyons as their race leader. The Team Bridge Lane squad, that's been this team that's dominated the National Road Series for the last decade. Not quite as prominent in the first 2 stages here at the Tour de Tweed, but it shows, I guess, there's a bit of an evening out amongst the competition in the NRS. It's great to see so many teams coming up and really being competitive. And Jason Thomason is the rider from Butterfield's Absolec that was with Jay Vine off the front. Olivers, the pressure again to them. And you can only see now the one rider in the green colours. The team had been doing so much work throughout the day, such tough conditions. And with a group still fairly large, only the one green rider on the front with Angus Lyons. But 2 strong riders. Sam Volkers hasn't been in the National Road Series for several years now, 3 or 4 years perhaps. And the last race he did in the NRS was at this particular tour. So good to see him come back. And how strong was he, considering he's been out of the competition for quite some time? Obviously he's been training a bit.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of racing actually. He's just did Tour of King High Lake at altitude, so I think that was only a couple of weeks ago. So he's come back with time at altitude. You're obviously going to have some pretty good form after altitude. I've known Sam for a while. We were on Data 3 together a few years ago, so he's in Queensland as well. So I knew he was going to be a good breakaway companion, and I knew we'd work pretty well together, work cooperatively. So yeah, he was super strong today.